Welcome to another edition of Your Impact Attack. That's right, it's Your Impact Attack. This belongs to you. This is all your fault. We absolve ourselves of responsibility and wash our hands. You should wash your hands every day, too. Who are we? We are the VBC collectively. Uh, I'm the V in the VBC, the vet Jamie Williams. Hello. With me, as always, my tag team partner Brandon, reaching in for the magic of the internet for a hot tag that no one knows how to do anymore. We're the only ones doing the real hot tags anymore. Brandon, what's going on?
Not much, man. Just got done watching the first half of a very talk-heavy Raw, hanging with RBV and Jimmy T. Of course, you always catch those guys on so much great content on the HMG YouTube channel. Make sure you check that out. Channel Attitude. Whoop whoop yeet yeet. How you doing tonight, pal?
Oh yes, I am loving it. I'm loving the chat. They're the C in this equation. Solve for C. C is chat, and I think we just got a 4-horse people here in the chat right now. Throw them 4s up.
Let's see who we got tonight. We got Liz. We got Lab Rat. We got Javi Uchiha. And just joining us, we got Gam. What's up, pal? Ahoy, Yeeties indeed. Whoop, whoop.
The mighty Gam Wolfers, the legend. Yes, we are ready to rock and or roll here tonight. We probably shouldn't waste any time. We should get right back to it. We should just get in, get out with, the maximum amount of efficiency for our efforts. Let's talk about some news. We talked about this a little bit. If you joined us during the Raw watch along portion, we were discussing AAA. So let's clarify some things. These are the people who have been signed by the WWE with WWE contracts from AAA. Now, this comes from a report from Ernesto Ocampo from Super Luchas. In a tweet, he says, after the report, he's following up his report with a tweet. The tweet says, many fans, especially in the U.S., are assuming that by buying AAA, WWE is also acquiring the contracts. But aside from the fact that the sale hasn't been finalized, those contracts are of no use to WWE, as WWE's contracts are legally distinct and include multiple provisions and clauses, such as exclusivity, intellectual property rights, and termination conditions that AAA's do not address or enforce. That's why new contracts are replacing the existing ones. And those luchadors that have been confirmed to be signed by the WWE, Nino Hamburguesa, Lady Maravilla, Lady Flammer, La Hiedra, La Parca, Hijo de Vikingo, Hijo de Dr. Wagner, and Alberto Del Rio. But you already knew that. A lot of people were like, oh my God, what's going to happen to Alberto Del Rio? They're going to sign to a contract. What do you think was going to happen?
He's the champion.
Yeah, just because he slapped a WWE guy like Office Punk some years ago or whatever. Like were we supposed to not want him? Oh yeah, there were all the criminal activities too. But don't worry about that. That's just being a pro wrestler. Just being a pro wrestler. You ain't a pro wrestler unless you had criminal activities. Brandon, you tell the stories about Mexico all the time. So your criminal activities are intact. You're a pro wrestler. That's all we need to say. So yeah, that was that. But that may have answered some of the confusion, because it's not as simple as just acquiring these contracts. A lot of the people under AAA, they're not even probably working with contracts, or at least not contracts that are exclusive, because they work in other places as well, wherever they can get booked, right? So, and let's face it, that's shady stuff down there, right? It's some of this shit could probably not even hold up in any court. So who knows what kind of deals the wrestlers make with these promotions, but these wrestlers are making a deal with this promotion. So congratulations to all of them getting signed. But yeah, what do you think about that going forward? And any other thoughts on the situation? Any news that might have emerged? Anything that you can add? about this whole WWE AAA thing.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense how they would want to convert those contracts or come up with new contracts that kind of follow WWE guideline and protocol as opposed to whatever deals they had with AAA beforehand. Now with the Del Rio signing, that one kind of complicates things because of news and rumors, or more like just rumors, of them wanting Page back. That might make it a little bit difficult. Or if they're doing a thing like, no, he's just staying in AAA, he's just staying there. You're going to be in WWE, you're going to be on Raw or SmackDown, and yeah, you're not going to interact at all.
Yeah. And also, even if it came to it, it's like, hey, people have had to work together before. So, as long as they're not, as long as they don't rekindle their romance, I think everything should be fine.
Yeah, if past history says anything, that's bad for everybody if that happens.
So, anyways, that I just wanted to throw out there because there's not a hell of a lot of news. So, but that is an interesting piece because a lot of people are wondering about that. Now, next piece of news is, wait, which one should I go with? I guess this one because I got really nothing to comment on here, just rather than reporting it. So TNA Wrestling has 2 new vice presidents. Thank you, PW Insider. Eric Tompkins and Ross Foreman have been appointed as vice presidents. The announcement reportedly made to the locker room recently. Eric Tompkins was the director of TV production, and Ross Foreman was the head of media relations. He's been in media relations in TNA Wrestling for 20 years, it says. So if you've ever heard of Ross Foreman, that's probably why.
Yeah, I've heard him mention on Keeping It 100 before.
Mm-hmm. So, now Carlos Silva was appointed as the TNA president back in February. The former president, Anthony Ciccione, or however you say his name, I apologize, was one of the people that got let go or whatever happened there with the mass exodus of everybody, like the names here. Ariel Scherer was the guy that said, don't have Joe Hendry do a job to the Miz. Karen Clavette, Sebastian Destrani, and Chief Revenue Officer Rob Klingman, as well as, of course, Gail Kim, Christy Hemme, and Josh Matthews from the sort of talent backstage side. But, yeah, so I don't know what this means because it just sounds like it's just a promotion, but it happened and it's TNA related, so thought I'd point it out. Any ideas what this might mean for us?
It does seem like that they're kind of might be gearing up for a potential sale, like they're about to get bought out.
You from 2 guys getting promoted, you think they're gearing up for
Well, I mean, like with the cuts as well.
Interesting.
And I'm kind of on the I'm siding with or agreeing with what Ben says about how it seems like Endeavor, TKO, WWE is kind of buying up everything to create one big profile to sell to the Saudis. Or portfolio, sorry.
Yes, portfolio would be. Why do they need that? Is what I wonder. Like, the Saudis, whatever that means.
I always assume he's talking about the Saudi royal family.
Well, they're not gonna buy the WWE. It would be through one of the investment companies or whatever. Like, I forget the name of it, but they're the ones that own that invest in these certain companies and stuff and own big majorities of them. Even if the royal family is behind all that, it's not like they're just gonna It's not like the royal family's just gonna buy the WWE. And if they did, um, I mean, if they did sell, why do they need any? It's not like an unknown entity. So be like a business partner that you've had for God. When did they start doing those shows and stuff?
I think it's been a decade, close to.
Wow, has it already been that long? And so it's like, what do you need to improve your portfolio to sell? Like they know who you are. That why don't if you were going to sell to them, what do they need? Why do they need extra? Why do you think anybody in Saudi Arabia gives a shit if you package TNA with WWE? Or am I that naive?
Well, the idea is, at least from the way it was explained, is they're trying to basically create their own Las Vegas. So you need content, live acts, like pretty much 24/7.
So what you're saying is, or what Ben's saying, I guess, is that Saudi Arabia is just going to be the other desert oasis that has residencies.
Pretty much. So you got to have as big of a portfolio, as much content and shows you can provide as possible to be as lucrative and as valuable as possible.
I don't think that perhaps I know this is just I'm not debating you on this necessarily because I know you're kind of just going along with Ben's idea, right? But maybe I just don't understand business, but if I was going to buy something, I don't want you to make it so that it costs me more. And if I saw that you were trying to do that, then I would hurry up my offer a little bit, is what I'm thinking. Do I not understand business? Am I just a guy that does a wrestling podcast? I'm not sure. But I do have a lot of questions, and there do seem to be a lot of holes in this theory.
Now, that does make a lot of sense. The thing is, though, they still have that public fund that's like worth 600 something billion that collects interest. So, again, say they bulk up the value of WME Endeavor to say 300 billion. No problem. We got it. Because they
But
know,
basic,
because they know they can keep collecting interest on the other 300 million while using that to recoup what they spent. And then once that's done, start making more again.
yeah. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that I doubt it. I doubt the whole idea. It sounds like it makes sense, but once you start peeling back the layers, I don't think it does. Gam Wolfers bring up an interesting point. I mean, these things, like, they're not going to buy, but they start their own thing. They want to start their own. They have their own golf league that they've started with their fund or whatever. You know, like that they. But they what they do is they'll start their league that they own, and then they will try to bring in high priced players. You know, like I would want to sign, you know, whoever the hot golfer is, to come and play in my golf league. You know, because the PGA is not going to sell. I don't know. Eh, I guess we'll just see. But I just know that if I were interested in acquiring WWE, I would have liked to have done it before when they were on sale the first time. And I feel like if they could have done that, if they wanted to do that, they could have.
Well, according to Kevin Nash, that apparently was the original plan. That sale did originally go through before somebody even higher on the food chain stepped in and said, nah.
Well, in any case, what we do have here is promotion of two people to vice president of TNA. So it really has nothing to do with any of that, but it is an interesting topic to keep our eyes on in the future. Now, this is pretty funny. I think you're going to find this funny. If you didn't already hear about it, you're going to think it's funny. And if you did hear about it, you probably thought it was funny. But that is this. This report. TNA has reportedly forbidden its wrestlers from blading for the first time in 22 years.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Yep.
According to PW Insider, officials informed the locker room earlier on Friday that excessive blood and blading will not be permissible by the promotion. Now, they've already taped the dog collar match between Steve Macklin and Eric Young, and that is going to air. And let's see. Change was made during a talent meeting emphasizing that deliberate bleeding is now banned with an understanding that accidents can happen. And that the decision was made to protect the health of talent as well as keeping existing and prospective advertisers / partners in mind.
Mance Warner and Sami Callihan most affected.
I was just going to say. TNA's decision to ban intentional bleeding comes as it has started to see a return in WWE, with Gunther recently beating Jimmy Uso bloody on the episode of WWE SmackDown. I'm pretty sure it wasn't on SmackDown. Pretty sure it was on Raw, but whatever. Yeah. So do you even think that this would be a conversation topic if that match between Mance and Sami had not happened?
Probably
Why
not.
would they even think to do it? Because they don't, it's not like TNA is a company that has blood everywhere all the time. Right?
Right. I mean, I think that could have been a factor. I think Todd Bradley brings up a good point. Could they be shopping around for a better TV deal?
Sure. They're always shopping around for a better TV deal. I just don't think people are buying. Who would want TNA? They've had their chance with TNA.
Here's the thing, though. They could have WWE in their corner saying, hey, we're giving them our production. We're helping them out. Give them another shot.
But that's the whole thing. Like, this decree of no blading or whatever, what the fuck would that have to do with anybody? It's not like the reason that TNA has not been getting any offers on whatever is because we really love your company, but you guys just bleed too much. I'm sorry. Like, that's not the reason. But then they went and had this fucking shit show of a match, right? And it's like at what, Unbreakable, right? So
yeah.
So it was embarrassing. I thought it was embarrassing. It's bad on every conceivable level, and yeah, now all of a sudden there's a decree that says no blading. Who was blading before? It would just be like sometimes Eric Young might, get some juice or something. It's not like people are out here just being, GCW or something. So I don't really, I can really just, I'm just gonna lay the blame squarely at the feet of that fucking match they had. They saw that and were like, ugh, we're not doing this anymore. This was a mistake.
No, I do have no doubt that match had a huge factor in that call.
Yeah. And Todd says, you're not wrong, but why make this edict now? Well, why have this match now? If you already knew that you're trying to, if you already knew that you're looking to, get TNA out of the gutter, why are you going to allow this to take place? You could have just not had this match. You could have just not hired Mance Warner in the first place. Even though you could, Mance Warner doesn't have to, turn everything into a bloodbath. But, I mean, there's lots of things that you could have done. So, yeah, I just I don't know. I guess I'm just at the point where I'm constantly uh, just shaking my head in disbelief at everything that happens in everyday life, not just wrestling. So if the answer is that everybody's just a moron, then I guess I'll just have to be happy with that. But nonetheless, nobody's allowed to cut themselves on purpose anymore. And if that
Unless
means that we get less matches with cookie sheets and stuff, then I'm fine with it.
unless it's Bret Hart and he knows how to do it discreetly.
Yes. Very, very discreet. Um so yeah, well that's the news for TNA. Uh no blood and 2 new vice presidents. Very exciting times for TNA. Now, let us talk about this lovely edition of Impact. And guess what? It was live. And guess what? I could tell because guess what? Everything about it was messed up production wise. Um, some of the pirated feeds I saw didn't even make sense. It was almost like they were like fan cam. I had to go to a different feed to like try to watch the show like normal. It was weird. I don't know what that was about. But what I did see was a lot of audio issues as you can expect. And it's just a general different look and feel and tone for it, right? Now, we talked about the live episodes they did earlier in the year and how they felt a little bit, like more urgent, they felt a little bit more electric. Even if the content wasn't any different, it's the same old shit, but at least the show felt better. Did you feel like that was the case here, or was this a weird sort of step back from what we saw before?
Yeah, it did kind of feel like a little bit of a step back, but still an improvement from what we saw, say, a year ago.
Well, we begin with the traditional ketchup packet. Yes, there it is, Heinz. Uh, this was just catching people up what happened on Rebellion. Um, and yeah, we're live from this is Los Angeles, right? They're still in Los Angeles. Joe Hendry, good way to start the show. You bring out Joe Hendry. Um, People are into it. He calls out Trick Williams because, as we know, Trick Williams and he have been going back and forth from NXT to TNA and so on and so forth. Trick ended Rebellion by jumping Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry comes on to NXT, cuts the line in front of Trick Williams the prior week or so, saying he wants a title shot at Obafemi. So, these guys are going at it. Trick does not show up. He shows up on screen to tell Joe Hendry to be careful about his shoulder. It's not looking too good. And then Joe lets us know what the main event is going to be for tonight's episode. So we start off with the champ. Good idea. Get the business done with the cross promotion and set up the main event. This seems like it would be right up your alley, Brandon.
Yep, great way to start the show.
Would you have punched up anything about it?
Not really. I think they got to the point. It was in and out. They got their business done, and it was all good.
All right. Rascals with Gia and no music underneath. Zach Wentz thinks he's gonna pin Moose again tonight. He already pinned him once. He can do it again. Can he do it again, really? Did you believe him when he said it? Did you believe in Zach Wentz?
No, it'd be more like, yeah.
Golf clap. Saudi Golf League clap. All right, well, we'll see. Sammy Callahan thinks he's been parent trapped by Santino, but it was actually Steph DeLander who brought him and Mance together right on the heels of this decree that there's no more purposeful bloodletting in TNA. These guys have to shake hands and agree not to kill each other anymore. And they do. They shake hands.
Yeah, get me a mutual respect angle, pal.
I mean, yeah, what is this? What are we doing? What was this? Brandon, what was this?
It was a very much, yep, let's wrap this up and move on.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Speaking of wrap it up, Santana, gonna take on some guy named Isaiah Moore, spins his block, then gets on the promo, or at least he tried to, but the microphone kept cutting out. So there you go. He still managed to somehow kind of put Joe Hendry on notice, even though I only heard like every sixth word. So yeah. So there he is. Santana's coming for the title. Any comments on Santana, his match, his promo, or anything?
I thought it was all good. It's kind of interesting. I thought it was interesting they were teased him and Joe Hendry. So I thought I was had it in my head that what was going to happen was Hendry would drop it to a heel, and then Santana would pick it up off of that heel. But that's where I think the possibility of what if it's Santana who takes it off of Hendry.
What if Trick Williams takes it off of Hendry?
That could work too. Then Santana beats Trick.
Santana saves the company. You can get your tickets for Invicta 62 coming up. Just let you know if you haven't got your tickets, still get them. Burt Macklin's coming out for something, I guess, but he gets jumped by the Northern Armory, and they beat him mercilessly with a chain, and then security takes their sweet time getting there.
It was what it was.
It's gonna be a dog collar match. Is what it's going to be. So all this stuff again taped before the decree. So there could be the last blood that you'll see in a TNA ring for the foreseeable future.
Breaking news: TNA resigns Abyss.
Man, I'm gonna remind me to tell you something when we get off here. Santino is gonna scold the Armory for doing what they did, but all that they're gonna get as punishment is it'll be a match next week. I assume it'll be the dog collar match. But they don't even say that.
Oh yeah, you don't have Scott there calling from with the headsets around his neck.
That's true. Well, he only did it half the time anyway. It was like a 50-50 whether he was going to call him or not, even at the best of times. All right. Speaking of the best of times, this is your Moose match for the week. It is Zachary Wentz versus Moose for the X Division title. I will let you go first.
Well, at least Moose won.
That he did.
Whereas I didn't think they were going to put Zachary Wentz over him. That wasn't happening.
Well, he definitely believed in himself. He believed in himself so much so that what we got was this sort of like, is this the worst match? I don't know if I've seen Moose in a worse match since I've been covering this stuff. It's like just the idea of like not only looking competitive but bumping and selling for this guy that just looks like I don't know if he looks more like a meth dealer or meth addict, something with meth for sure. Like 100%, like this guy just has a 9-to-5 job and then he just does this on the weekends, right? No way this is a full-time gig, right? And like he's out there like, and Moose is like taking bumps and selling and stuff. This happened, like, on television. I'm speechless, kind of. Like, I'm not speechless because I'm literally speaking, but I'm speechless in the sense that, like, I can't even get that mad. I'm just I'm just disappointed. I'm not mad,
Son,
I'm just disappointed.
I am very disappointed.
Jesus Christ, Jimmy, no. Why does Jimmy, why is it so hard for you to understand things? This is Earth, okay? Zachary Wentz of the Rascals looks like that. God. Anyway,
To be
just
fair,
had to.
Zachary Wentz does look like a dude that we picked up weed from like some shitty ass like rundown apartment motel when we were staying in Metropolis, Illinois one time.
Doesn't he? Doesn't he? It, yeah, this whole thing is like. Well, Javi actually chimes in with a paragraph for once, so we got to read that. I actually didn't mind the Moose match. It was a high spot fest, but it was entertaining. But like you said, it wasn't believable for Wentz to go 50-50 with Moose. Well, yeah, exactly. It was like, it should have been almost exactly like even the Cody Deaner match got too much offense. Cody got too much offense, but at least it was looked like Moose was toying with him. Now I know he's not going to have that exact same match with uh with a guy that's like a, competitive champion level tag team guy. I know he's not going to be exactly the same level as Cody Deaner, but still, you know, the idea should have been that he's playing with his food, and that's the only reason that it's even somewhat competitive, and that should only happen towards the end, right? But I mean, if Zachary Wentz were had any kind of size or height, that's one thing. If they had this exact match, but if you have a certain look, you got to tailor your match around what you physically are. It's just not believable, you know? So, and I know a lot of things in pro wrestling aren't believable, but I'm just operating under the assumption that everybody should be doing the right thing. And I'm talking about this part right now. So let's do this thing right, and then let's do the next thing right, the next thing right. You know, we'll get to exercising the broken universe later. We can't even have a realistic match between two guys, apparently. So, but Moose does finally hit the spear and retains the title. So we got to where we needed to go eventually. Anything else to add on that? It's our last chance to talk about Moose, I think.
Moose is great. Moose is awesome, and he still the champion. Whoop whoop.
He'll
I
always be
wonder.
the champion of my heart, and if Powertown Wrestling would ever send me that action figure, he'll still have that championship there. But go ahead, sorry.
It makes me wonder: is he going to cash in option C?
I mean, he could, but he said, and heels lie, so he could have just said it, but he said he wants to make the X Division title the premier title by him having it. So there you go. They do the gimmick injury report. We see a glimpse into the Bioflex recovery room, whatever the hell that is. It's just one of their sponsorships. Gia Miller tries to get a comment from Ali, and he just walks by in a zombie-like state, so she'll have to settle for one of the great hands. I don't even remember which one it was, and I didn't write it. So, there you go.
Yeah, it does look like the act is staying together, and they're hinting that Ali is going to snap and start hurting people.
Oh.
Yeah, because I think
I wonder if Bobby Lashley would be interested in that.
I think the phrase that the guy used was that Ali wants to destroy everything.
Great.
Which we've heard before, and that never goes anywhere.
Never goes anywhere. Speaking of not going anywhere, Cody Deaner's contract is apparently up. So the first thing I think of is, all right, then why am I having to watch you? In this, why would they give you a mic if you're fired? Like, just get out. Just don't give TV time to a fired guy or a unrenewed guy. But here he is, and he's trying to give a speech about, a rousing speech about how TNA has given him so much and all this other bullshit. And the crowd is whatting him relentlessly, mercilessly. They are what they don't give a shit about anything he's saying. Eventually, he just ignores them long enough that he just ignores them long enough that they kind of get with it at the end and kind of mildly applaud and cheer for what he's saying. And then Santino says that he can't authorize a new contract, but he can at least give him an extension until Under Siege and give him a match with Edward Edwards. And then Robert Stone comes out, and he's got my buddy Victoria Crawford with him. And apparently, there's some kind of oversight committee that is going to be watching these moves that Santino's making. And he just decides that he's going to give Victoria a match with Masha at Under Siege. So how do you like them apples? Well, how do you like them apples?
Well, I think this might end up being part of a bigger storyline, because like, who gave that authority to appoint Alicia or Victoria Crawford as the deputy director, director for authority?
Yeah.
Like, who made that call?
My God. Was it one of the new vice presidents? Was it Ross Foreman?
Yeah, that was the first question that came to my mind. I was like, okay, where did this authority to, like, who's above Santino? Who's above the board? And why is, and I would imagine somebody with WWE or NXT, because Robert Stone's connected to it.
Well, Society Review says all we need to do is bring back Melina. We can recreate the dream match.
Yep, and then Cameron's a special guest referee.
Count it, ref. Oh, that's me. Yes. 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 All right. Well, I guess we'll have to keep our eye on that. Well, everybody that's involved in this thing gets into a confrontation in the hallway, but also Tessa Blanchard and Ariana Grace are there as well. So Ariana Grace doesn't really do anything. She just kind of hangs out behind her dad and looks worried, while Tessa just, reads everybody the riot act as usual. So,
well, here's an interesting thing. This the walk-off was Stone being impressed with Tess and saying, "Hey, let's talk," and they walk off together.
All right. To be continued. All right, next is I wish we didn't have to continue. Jody Threat versus Maggie Lee. All right. What do you have to say about it?
Well, at least it made sense for the pre-tape we saw later.
Ah, jeez. All right. Yeah, sure. But anyway, look, I've never seen, like, I can't say I've never seen Maggie Lee before. I've seen her at least once, but I wasn't paying that much attention then. I've paid attention now, and oh my God, like a makeover is not the only thing that she needs. This chick is like almost 6 feet tall. She's billed at 5'11". God knows what her real height is. It could be 5'9", but she definitely looks tall. Um, and she has got she did a leapfrog in this match that was like she barely got over Jody Threat, and like this is the lowest leapfrog I've ever seen. I'm surprised she just didn't get hit. I she's also like she's also like she takes really short steps in the ring when she's running. You know, like you have long legs, you got to stride across the ring. You know, you learn like a cadence to run the ropes and stuff. 1, 2, 3, hit. 1, 2, 3, hit. You know, that's about the kind of you remember that from training.
Yep.
So
1, 2, 3, pivot, bounce. 1, 2, 3, pivot, bounce.
yep, and hers is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, bounce. Just I her strikes look weak. Like there was a she threw one kind of a strike. I don't even know what it was supposed to be. I thought she was reaching out to caress her face or something. Just sucked. Um, but I just I don't want to. It's not that I'm just washing my hands and saying like, look, you'll never make it, but it's just too early for her to be in this position. The same thing with Heather Reckless. Heather Reckless is bad. Like she's really bad.
They need to be in OVW.
Yeah. Anywhere but here. Like if that was the gimmick, that's one thing. You know? Like if you're trying to get if your gimmick is the concierge and Ash, they're like a pair, and we know that Ash, let's say she's a wrestler, right? But she's doing the beauty gimmick, right? Well, if you were trying to to find beauties and make them wrestlers and they were bad, then that would be something. That's like an angle that you could do. Not the best, but that's something. It's a thought. It's the germ of an idea. Like, oh, these women suck because they're not wrestlers, but I'm trying to get other wrestlers to partner up, with, like, we're giving them tryouts, right? They're not even doing that. That's not the story they're telling. They're just, hey, here's a wrestler. Oh, well, now we're going to make you look like her. Like, that's their angle. Doesn't, no. So, I'm sorry, Maggie, but you need a lot more time in the oven before you're on television, kid. And that's not a knock on you. You're just you're just taking the opportunities that come to you. But yeah, you really got to shore up some of that stuff. If you're throwing a punch or a kick, look like you mean it. If you're running the ropes or running across the ring, take a full stride. Like learn some footwork. Really, really explore the ring and get to know, your spatial awareness. And for God's sake, if you can't leapfrog, don't jump. You should be able to leapfrog anybody. Yeah. So, anyways, pop shove it for the win. Jody Threat goes over, and then, as you were saying afterwards, the concierge says that the best way to deal with a loss is a makeover. And they leave the room chanting Botox. I always looked at Botox as like, it's one of those things that to me is almost like borderline illegal. Like there's definitely some people that should refuse to do that. And they're very proud about it and celebrating it. So. Yeah. Well, we'll see what that does. Thankfully, she probably doesn't have to get it for a shoot, but who knows?
I think there might be some makeup techniques that they can do to make it look like it.
Yeah, I think so. Or, whatever they had before Botox was invented to do the same things. Uh oh, Jimmy will like this. Gia brings out Indy Hartwell. Oh. Was this the? Could you have made this any more generic?
Create it. Hey, ChatGPT, write a wrestling promo.
Damn near. No, really. If you told any chat AI to write you a wrestling promo for, I mean, in fairness, you would have to say, write it for Indy Hartwell. This is what they would come up with. And maybe that's what they actually did. Who knows? Because if she was going out there speaking from the heart, it sounded very prepared to me. Perhaps prepared by a chatbot. Hey, look. Everybody can't be, friggin' LA Knight or whatever. Even he can't be LA Knight. He's got to be three other people that he watched growing up. But the point is, even if you can't be that charismatic on the microphone, at least you could get it done in the ring. Unless you're Indy Hartwell, then you can't. But maybe she has. Maybe she refocused herself as trained, and now she has shored up all of her weaknesses that made her, that in the past have made her on par with Maggie Lee. Maybe she's now decent. So we'll give her the benefit of the doubt. And also her t-shirt is available now. So you can get the Indy Hartwell t-shirt from TNA Shop or whatever that website's called.
ShopTNA.com.
ShopTNA.com. It's right there. And I assure you it's not sold out. KC Navarro with AJ Francis versus Leon Slater. I'll tell you what I like about this match, Brandon. The referee ejects AJ Francis for cheating. And for some reason, I don't know why, she did not do the ridiculous wind-up. She didn't do the dance, She just said, get out of here. And he did. So I was so happy. That made me so happy. And then Leon Slater proceeded to put a beating on KC Navarro and then hit him with the Swan 450. He didn't eat shit this time. So yeah. So it was cool. What did you think?
No, I liked it. It was good, and they clearly are pushing Leon Slater. They got plans for him. I could see him becoming a. That's who takes the title off Moose. I think they're building him for that.
Really? They already beat Leon Slater? I don't remember.
Ultimate X.
Not that. Thought he got a shot.
Yeah, it might have been a throwaway match.
Yeah. Well, in any case, Leon only needs a couple things. It's a cosmetic business. Leon's got a decent height for his style, and it's an interesting looking kid. He cut a promo. He's British, so it doesn't matter if he has no charisma. Everybody will just assume he does because of his accent. That's how British people get along in this world. They get a lot more respect just because their accent. And so he's got all that stuff going for him. The only thing he needs, my advice, the only thing for Leon, you got some money now, I guess. Once you get enough, if you have a dental plan, if you're staying in the States and you get a dental plan or something, just fix the top row and 200 push-ups every day without question. Just every day, 200 push-ups right when you wake up. That's it. They'll be good after that.
Man, why you guys attack British people like that about their teeth, man?
I attacked one British person about his teeth, Leon Slater. He has bad teeth. So You can
Come on,
get
man. British can't help it.
Invisalign. Yeah, we're all born, right? And we all have a set of teeth fall out, and then we start our new teeth. That's what we do with it, right? I mean, aren't we just displaced English people, ancestry-wise? My teeth aren't like that. See?
Yeah, to be fair, we're all kind of the weird bastard children of the Brits.
Yeah, it's because their candy's so good. That's why. Anyway, Masha Slavich cuts a promo on Crawford saying, "Well, you haven't done anything in like years, and now you want to come in and challenge me for my title? I'm gonna fucking kill you." Or at least that's the promo I would have wrote. She said it a little more like family friendly. Um, but yeah, that was the sentiment there. And then we finally get our all-star main event. I purposely didn't tell you what this was, even though Joe Hendry did at the start. I just told you that he set up the main event, but now I'll tell you what the main event is. The main event is Joe Hendry and the Hardys versus Frankie Kazarian and the Zigglers. I will say this, and I'm sure you'll agree. Well, actually, I won't say it. You tell me what I'm about to say. What was the best part of this whole thing?
The Hardys Hendry entrance.
Yes, that's exactly right. They did a mashup where the Hardys were sort of inserted into the song and video. So yeah. See, that's the Joe Hendry I know. This Joe Hendry's been stale for a while, but the old Joe Hendry, the guy that had like a new song for every one of his opponents, and I'm not even talking about the TNA ones. I mean, like when he would be like on the Indies and he'd come out just strumming a guitar or whatever, singing the song that way. He didn't have like a fully produced music video, but it's so easy. You could, it never has to get stale because you're always working with different people. So it was nice to see like something that's reminiscent of, because he hasn't done anything goofy in a while. So this was good. The match was, I don't know, this match and every other match throughout the night, despite what we've said, I feel like the crowd was pretty into it. They definitely seemed to like really enjoy a lot of the stuff. I mean, even though they were wetting Cody Deaner a lot, but they were enjoying doing that at least.
Not seemed like a hot, enthusiastic crowd that night, despite how late the show was. I actually take that back. It was maybe about 7:00 East Coast, so yeah, or West Coast, yeah, so that wasn't too late for them.
Not too late. As LA, who's normally like, they don't always get feisty in LA. They're pretty laid back a lot of the time. So some of the shows that you see in LA have like less enthusiasm at times, but these people were happy to be here and they seem to really like this match. So what ends up happening is during the match, Trick Williams shows up and takes Joe Hendry, runs him into the stairs, takes him out of commission, and then that enables Dolph to hit the danger zone on Jeff for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, there you go. That is your Impact main event. And now we have to know, not in Rosita, what's going to happen next. You're just going to have to tune into NXT to find out if Joe Hendry will show. Actually, we know he will because Joe Hendry has a match. He's teaming up with the Honks. Honk and Honk versus Dark State. Dark State. The guys that committed acts of terrorism and then just got matches.
Isn't that pretty much the storyline of Retribution?
Yes. It's exactly the same thing. Very similar also to Sanity and the Nexus, which is why I called them San Extribution. But yeah, and there you go. So will Joe Hendry having a match, will Trick interfere? Will Trick has been involved with Dark State as well in some fashion. Now they have not, you know, they've not necessarily been kind to Trick, but at the same time, they haven't beaten Trick up as much as some of the other people. So, will we find out that Trick is the mastermind behind Dark State all along? Well, I think that's a dumb idea, so that's probably what they're going to do. That's what I think will maybe happen. And we'll probably have supposed to just forgotten something that happened in the past to make it make sense. But
look right here.
yes. Did you ever flashy thing me, Brandon? I'm serious, Brandon. Did you ever flashy thing me?
Man, this is good callback in writing. Did you ever see the ending to the third Man in Black movie?
Yes, but I hated the movie so much I blocked it from my memory. What happened?
Let's just say like that whole "did you ever flashy thing me" that made it mean so much more.
Yes. I wish
tune
there was
into
something...
the next. Oh, sorry. Tune into the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Well, I wish I had somebody to neuralize this episode out of my brain because god damn it. But the important thing is that it's over. It's over and we're done talking about it, and everyone has the rest of the night or evening or whatever to do whatever they want to try to forget about, not this show, but the show that we talked about. If there's any remnants in your brain, please cleanse them with the entertainment of your choice. But thank you for spending the time with us. We always appreciate it, and we couldn't do it without you. If you want to hang out and talk to us some more, then we'll be all over the place coming up soon, and Brandon's going to tell you where. Brandon?
Well, about 10, 15 minutes after we go off the air, we're going to continue with the Raw watch along. And then tomorrow we got, the late start NXT watch along, which will air almost as soon as A show goes off the air. And then Wednesday, of course, we got the AEW Dynamite watch along and belt count Thursday, Impact watch along and belt count Friday, SmackDown watch along and belt count Saturday, Backlash watch along. And I'll probably do a belt count for there too. And then Sunday, we come back with HMG After Dark. And then Monday, we're right back here, Raw Watch Along and Impact Attack. Whoop, whoop. And you can also catch me on twitch.tv/LGBrandon, whoop, whoop. And I'm also on Twitter, or as the kids call it these days, the X, at LGBrandon, whoop.
Ooh. Who won the belt count last week?
I think it was Todd.
Oh. All right. And where are we at in Chrono Trigger? Where in time are we?
Let's see. I just got Chrono back and going through some of the side stuff I just got done. Last night I did Ozzy's Fort, Fiona's Forest, and the Genodome.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I think next we're hitting Giant's Claw and then doing the whole trial thing in the present. We're trying to save the king from proving his innocence, and then we're going to Black Omen after that.
All right. The Black Omen. I remember
which you can actually go through 3 times in that game.
Yeah. You just have to do the future ones first. Yeah. And you want to, because you want to charm the prism stuff out of Queen Zeal.
Yep. And also get those mega elixirs out of those 2-headed snake things.
Yeah. That's how you do it. Well, in any case, you can follow me at Opinion Haver everywhere. I will be on HMG in the usual places. It's here. It is on the Next Level Wrestling Review every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern with Big Ray Hernandez. Talk about NXT. Have the Wreckage every Sunday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern with Jimmy T here. We talk about AEW. We have Wrestling with Rogers every Friday. We have Stevie Richards show every Friday. We have Limpin' Ain't Easy every Wednesday. And yeah, they're all great. And you should check them all out. So, thank you for checking us out. For Brandon, I'm the vet, and I don't have a sign off.